taken off from me for some reason. I don't know why. The referee took a point off me at the end of the round, so obviously that made the scorecards a little closer. But you know, I thought the right man won in the end. You know, but yeah, I'm not happy with my performance, but you know, I still thought I won the fight.
Fine. Anything from Todd? Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
John, you that mic?
Yeah.
Listen, it was an incredible atmosphere, an incredible night, and I've been in the business since 1993, and we have nights that everyone in the room feels differently about. Two guys put on an incredible performance. Not saying it was the most telegenic fight. Stylistically, you had two southpaws. It was awkward, a lot of holding. This is the sport of boxing, right? You know, I said before the fight, I thought Josh. They said, "What is he going to do after?" I said, "He looked like he may struggle at the weight because of the weigh-in, and we'll see after the fight." Thought he was flat. He said just a second ago it wasn't his best performance. Both guys, Catterall made a name for himself. He did what he had to do, impressed a lot of people in this room and in the arena and on television tonight. And Josh did as much as he could do. So it was a tough night for some of the fans that thought it was a bad decision, but I think, you know, we kind of go and move forward and try to make everybody a better situation for boxing.
Ben?
I don't think it was a bad decision. I think it was because he did better than everyone else was expecting. So because he did better than everyone else was expecting, they automatically think he won the fight. But he never won the fight. The right man won the fight. But it was a far from a marquee performance from myself. But the right man won the fight, and you know, it is what it is. You're always going to have doubters, but you know, it wasn't my best performance. But the right man won the fight, and I think that's more what the case is. Because he did better than everyone was expecting, they automatically think he won the fight. But he never won the fight. I scored the bigger shots, was the boss from midway through to the end, and you know, with the point getting taken off of me as well, made the scorecards a little closer. But I definitely won the fight.
Yeah, look, it's just really going over the points that Todd and Josh have just gone over there. You know, even the great Floyd Mayweather had a night where people thought that the opponent had won. But I think there's definitely an element of what Josh said, but that's not taking anything away from Jack and his team. You know, brilliant performance from those guys as well. And that says a lot about the character of Josh. He put a lot of pressure on himself, wanting to perform. You know, I think that I actually said this a few times going into the fight, that the home advantage in the crowd would be an advantage and a disadvantage at different points in the fight, and I think that's what we saw. So yeah, I suppose if there's any questions, then
Ben, question down here for you.
Oh, hi Ben, Well Hogan from the Box Voice. After about the halfway stage, you seem to be trying to G up the crowd. Did you feel the fight was slipping away from Josh at that point, and that you needed the crowd to maybe sway things or lift him?
No, not at all. I think that there was an element of, like I said, Josh putting so much pressure on himself. I think that once he started gaining momentum, I wanted to keep building that momentum. And like I said, going into the fight, I felt like the crowd was actually going to be a disadvantage in the early part of the fight, and I felt like it was going to be an advantage in the second half of the fight, and I think that's what we saw.
Josh, right here.
Hey Josh, with people saying it's a close fight, would you consider a rematch, or do you want to move up?
I'll be moving up. That was my last fight at 140. We said that before this fight. You know, I did make the weight. I made the weight fine. I made the weight fine, but you could see on the scales yesterday that how gaunt I was. But I made the weight good, and that's thanks to John Poppy over there, my nutritionist. It made it so much easier. The last two times I've made the weight has been really easy, but you know, getting the recovery from 140 back to rehydration and back to feeling fully fit again was you know, it's hard. You know, it's hard. You know, now I'm getting bigger and stronger, and yeah, it was maybe one too many fights at 140. But you know, I made a deal with Jack for me to get the fight for the undisputed title against Ramirez. On the back of it, I'd give Jack his chance at the shot of the belts, and I did that. You know, and fair play to Jack. He turned up and he gave it his best shot, and he was very competitive in the fight, but he never won the fight. You know, he did better than he expected, I think, and you know, but he never won the fight. The right man won the fight. But you know, that'll be my last performance at 140 for you.
Josh, right there.
Josh, I think the consensus at ringside was that Jack won it by 3, maybe even 4 rounds. There was talk of
It was that wide. Was it the toughest fight of your career?
Definitely not. No, I don't think it was that tough, to be honest. I didn't think it was that tough, to be honest. No, I don't see how he won by 3, maybe 4 rounds. I thought I won the fight.
Right there, one for Josh, one for Ben.
Yeah, just same question for both of you, please. Could you give me a sense of where in the ring you felt it went right and where you felt it went wrong?
If you want. I thought I won the fight when I was pushing him on the back foot, making him face, putting him on the back and skirting around the edge of the ring, and I was being the boss in there. That's why I thought I won the fight. And, you know, hitting him with the better shots, the bigger shots.
Yeah, there was definitely an element of, like I said, there was a lot of pressure. Josh didn't want to make any mistakes. I think he was slightly too hesitant in moments in the first half of the fight. Going in moments that he probably shouldn't have went, and not going in moments that he should have went. Just finding, you know, I think an element of his focus was elsewhere, exterior, as opposed to being focused on actually in the ring. And I think you could see that by Josh keep looking out at the crowd. And we had a discussion in the corner about that, being focused, getting focused and focusing on what's happening in the ring. And when he made that adjustment and started, you know, being more physical and imposing his size, and not picking the right moments and when to go, there was a huge change in the momentum of the fight.
Josh, straight ahead.
Josh, do you think with everyone talking about perhaps Jack should have won, will that take any shine for you of this achievement, or do you worry?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, Jack deserves all the praise he got because he turned up and he turned well and he did better than everyone expected, you know, so fair play to him. And but he never won the fight, and I told him that in the ring straight after the result. I says, well done, you done great, but you never won that fight, you know. So obviously he maybe thinks he disagrees, but I don't know. But I definitely told him straight away there and then, after the decision as well. I says, well done, you done good, you fought well, but you never won the fight. But so I don't really care for what people think. I know I won the fight, and myself and the team know we won the fight. We know it was close, we know it wasn't our best performance, but we know we won the fight.
Josh, down to your left in the green.
George, you talk about moving up. Who would you like? You know, there's obviously some fellow called Terence Crawford.
Yeah, listen, all the big fights, all the marquee fights are at 147. You know, even non-title fights at 147 are massive fights. You know, I feel I've earned the right to be in big fights now. You know, the way I've come up in my career, I've took all the risks. You know, very early on in my career, where other fighters would maybe possibly wait for this fight and that fight, I took all the risks. I've jumped in at the deep end, and it's been sink or swim, and I've learned that I can swim, and I'm definitely one of the best in the sport. Tonight wasn't a great performance, so I know everyone looking at that now, you know, coming up, they're going to go, oh, Josh Taylor, easy fight. You know, Cole had a close fight with Jack Catterall, blah blah blah. You know, and they're going to say, oh, that's an easy fight, but you know, trust me, that was far from my best. And when I move up to 147, I'm going to be a monster at it, and I'm going to be even better than I am now.